this is Chris with your Crypto Weekly Update for the week of August 23rd, where I take a look at the macro factors that drive the crypto markets. Okay, let's get right into my notebook with the top 3 things. Number 1, all-time highs, baby. Number 2, bullish news, finally. And number 3, crypto divergence. Okay, when I'm referring to all-time highs, I'm obviously not referring to Bitcoin and Ethereum. They did not make all-time highs this week, but there were several tokens that did. Solana, Luna, Cardano, Helium, all of those made all-time highs over the last week. For me, that's indicative of a broadening and a deepening of this crypto recovery. And it's actually now, with these highs being made, it's more than a recovery. It's now a full-blown bull market. That's what I'm seeing anyway. Okay, so let's take a look at Solana really quick. For me, last week's price action in Solana was a textbook example of a breakout. Okay, you see a price move to the upside, you see a massive acceleration in volume. Okay, Solana was up 36% last week. Volume was up almost 300%. Massive move to the upside. You can see right here, August 16th, it pops the previous high, triggers a bunch of orders, massive volume. Okay, lots of chasing, but guess what? It didn't get sold either. So it went all the way up to 80 and didn't really get sold. It's kind of bled a little bit. It's kind of pulled back a little bit, but there's not a ton of selling pressure. Okay, so for me, that means it doesn't mean that they're selling it. It really just means they're just not going to chase it. So it's going to come back down to a point where there's a little bit more interest and then press for a move higher. At least that's what I'm looking for. And then take a look. Helium's very similar. Look, Helium, you had a strong week last week, makes a new high, accelerating volume. You can see all this volume down here. Look at all this volume. Huge volume compared to what you had in July. Okay, and then you've got Luna. Okay, so Luna is up 45% week over week with volume up almost 100%. Cardano up 25% week over week on accelerating volume. Cardano is up 75% over the last 2 weeks, so it's made a massive move. Okay, now let's take a look at Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin had a pretty modest week. It was up 5% or so, and the volume was pretty meh, but it's unsurprising. Look, it's coming into a spot where there's going to be a lot of selling pressure. And I talked about this in the prior weeks that there's a lot of volume. Look, there's a lot of volume trapped up here. This is 2 months of price action that's trapped up here. So I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of chops in between 50 and 60 for some time before, that way it can work out those people that got trapped. So for me, what I'm really looking for in terms of Bitcoin is I'm looking for a close above 50. If it can close above 50, okay, then I think your floor is probably at 44 to 45. And then the next high that you're looking at is 59,600. And that corresponds to this, that last lower high you had in early May. And now let's take a look at Ethereum. Now Ethereum was actually down for the week, but to me, it's not too concerning. Ethereum actually tends to have more violent moves to the upside. So I'm not surprised that it's just kind of consolidating right now. And look, it's up 60% in the last 30 days. So it's trying to digest that move, and it's not doing anything wrong. It's making higher lows. It's hanging around the upper bound of its range. So for me, Ethereum still looks strong. The next upper boundary I'm looking at is 3,600. But again, I don't expect it to stay there too long. I think for me, the next upper boundary past 3,600 is $4,000. Again, because Ethereum doesn't have the same pressure above $4,000 like Bitcoin does. So Bitcoin had 2 months of price action above 50, where Ethereum just had a couple days really above 4,000. So there's not as many people trapped up there. So I don't look for it to hang around there. I look for it to start to really move and punch through these upper levels. I think to the downside, Ethereum, look, you've probably got downside to 2,900, $3,000. I wouldn't expect it to stay there long. Let's get into the second thing in my notebook, which is bullish news. Okay, so over the past couple of weeks, we've had really strong price action in the face of bearish news. You had regulation, you had hacks. Those are generally not good news, but the market went up. Okay, so now we're finally getting some good news coming in, and I just wanted to highlight that and what it means from my perspective. So OpenSea is an NFT trading platform. Now, last week, OpenSea announced that over the last 30 days, since the beginning of August, they'd had over $1 billion in trading volume on their platform. So they trade art. You can do NFTs on digital art. You can do NFTs in gaming. What's important to understand is NFTs are primarily on the Ethereum network. Okay, so as OpenSea's trading volume goes up, that means activity on the Ethereum network goes up. And remember, based on the London hard fork, as Ethereum network activity increases, the amount of Ethereum burned increases also. So I just wanted to interweave that supply and demand perspective from Ethereum, because it's being burned, the supply is actually going down. So again, that's that supply pressure I've been talking about. Another platform, Axie Infinity, it's a gaming platform. They did over $1 billion in trading volume over the last week. Okay, so what players do on that platform is they play in the game. It's positioned as a play to earn game. So you can play in the game and then build up characters and then sell them. And over $1 billion in trading volume was done just on the characters being sold. And what you can see that reflected in the price of their token. So the AXS token is up over 200% in the last 30 days. So that value, that trading volume, the fees generated are flowing through to the token holders. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. And AXS is at an all-time high. I know I haven't talked about it. I'm just kind of coming around on this one too. But gaming is got very strong tailwinds behind it, especially these play-to-earn games. There's areas of the world that don't have a lot of economic opportunities, but they have cell phones, so they can play these games and they can actually make money playing these games. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's a strong trend going forward. The next piece of news is Bitcoin related. So you've got United Wholesale Mortgage becomes the first mortgage lender to accept Bitcoin as payment. Now, this is important because the millennial cohort is the largest cohort of home buyers going forward. Okay, so you've got baby boomers are retiring, downsizing, passing away. So their share of the market's declining. Now, millennials are coming of age. Okay, now they've got income to buy a home, and they're the largest cohort going forward. Okay, and so what United said is, look, we want to capture that market share. We know millennials own crypto, and we want to get out in front of it. This is important to me because I think this will be mimicked throughout the mortgage industry. I wouldn't be surprised over the next couple of months if you saw several different lenders announce that they're accepting Bitcoin as payment. And for me, all that means is more on-ramps, better user experience, more adoption, which generally leads to what? Bullish price action. Okay. The last piece of news I want to hit on was a tweet by Coinbase CEO, Brian Armstrong. Okay, so he tweeted that he got approval from his board of directors to purchase $500 million worth of crypto for the Coinbase balance sheet. And further, Coinbase will reinvest 10% of its profits into crypto. Okay, so for me, this is very simple. You got $500 million buyer. Okay, they've probably already made those purchases. Okay, but going forward, you've got 10% of their profits at a minimum being reinvested. Again, that's more buyer. That's large buyers. Okay, more users being onboarded to Coinbase, buying more crypto. Guess what? More fees for Coinbase, which they're going to reinvest in crypto. So you've got this flywheel effect. You've got this supply and demand dynamic where the supply is going down and at the same time the demand's going up. So for me, very bullish news right there. Okay, the last thing I want to hit on is the divergence that you're seeing between the traditional equities markets and crypto. Okay, and particularly I'm talking about the last month. Okay, so let's take a look at the S&P 500 over the last 30 days. S&P 500 is up 1.4%. Okay, Bitcoin is up 50%. Ethereum's up 60%. Okay, NASDAQ, tech, that's where, most people, if you're ranging from 30 to 40, probably the most significant portion of your net worth that's not your home is in tech stocks like Facebook, Microsoft, Amazon, Google. Okay, so tech over the last 30 days, it's flat. It's basically down 0.1%. Okay, let's look at Germany. Okay, I don't want to be US. I don't want to be myopic. So let's look at Germany. Germany's flat over the last 30 days. England up 1% over the last 30 days. China down 4% last 30 days. Remember, most of Asia is bearish. China's bearish. Japan down 1.5% over the last 30 days. Now compare that to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Remember, they're up 50 and 60% respectively. So for me, what you're going to see is if this trend continues to play out, if this divergence becomes not just 30 days, but 60 days, you're going to see a further rotation out of equities and into crypto. Because remember, everyone wants yield on their money, and they're not getting it in the equity markets. We've got now US equities, European equities. What I just listed off was the top 6 global equity indexes. That's a massive amount of money that's not getting any yield. Meanwhile, crypto is up 50%. Okay, people are going to take notice of that. And I think when they do, you're going to see more chasing. And that's when you could potentially get a really strong exponential move to the upside. Okay, and I want to end on that note, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.